Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a challenge that, let's be honest, every single professional is facing. Just way too much data and never enough time. We're going to explore a couple of really powerful AI tools that don't just help you work faster, they actually help you get your ideas across with unbelievable clarity.
Okay, let's just get real for a second. We are all drowning in data. I want you to picture analyzing a 100-page bank statement. You know what that's like. Manually, that's probably a solid 2 days of just staring at a screen until your eyes cross. But with the right AI, you can get every single one of those entries processed, sorted, and analyzed in about 10 minutes. No joke, that's what's possible today.
But hang on. Before you get all excited and start uploading your next client file, we have to pump the brakes. Because this incredible speed, this efficiency, it comes with a huge catch. There is a hidden risk here that every professional, especially anyone dealing with confidential information, absolutely has to understand.
And here it is. This is the single biggest danger. When you use a lot of the popular public AI tools, you might be feeding your private data into a system that's learning from it. As this quote puts it, the secret documents of your clients would be going public. Now, for anyone who's bound by confidentiality, like a chartered accountant, this isn't just a mistake, it's a complete disaster.
So, what do we do? The key is not to avoid AI. It's to use it the smart way, the safe way. And the good news is, it's pretty straightforward. First, mask your data. Before you upload anything, change the names, change the account numbers, anonymize it. Second, it's a great idea to use a completely separate anonymous email just for these tools. Third, and this is the big one, never ever upload original client files. And finally, you want to look for tools that are specifically designed to work privately with your documents.
All right, so with those safety rules in mind, let's get to our first solution. This is a tool built to solve the communication problem. You know, you've done all the hard work, you've got the data, but how do you actually show it to a client or your boss in a way they can understand in like 5 seconds?
Let me introduce you to Napkin AI. The best way to think about this is like having your own personal graphic designer on call 24/7. It's what we call an output tool. Its entire job is to take your raw text, your messy notes, your data points, and just magically transform it into a visual story that looks clean, professional, and is super easy to understand.
And using it couldn't be simpler. Seriously, you just copy and paste your text, let's say it's a summary of a project, then you give it a really simple instruction, like create a timeline of these events or make an org chart. You click a button and boom! In seconds, you have a professional-looking infographic ready to go.
And here's a perfect real-world story of how this works. A presenter was dealing with a client whose business bank account was suddenly frozen by the tax authorities. The client was understandably freaking out. They were totally lost in the long, complicated history of the case. So instead of trying to explain it all over a confusing phone call, the presenter just pasted the case history into Napkin AI and created this simple timeline. It instantly made a year's worth of notices and appeals crystal clear, which calmed the client right down.
Okay, so Napkin AI is awesome for presenting your results. It's your storyteller. But what about all the work you have to do before that? The research, the analysis. For that part of the job, we need a totally different kind of tool, one that's all about accuracy and privacy.
Now, this is where things get really, really interesting. This tool, Notebook LM, is a source-based AI. You see, some AIs pull their answers from the whole internet, and sometimes, well, they just make stuff up. It's a real problem called hallucination. A source-based tool, on the other hand, is completely different. It only works with the documents you give it. This creates a closed, private, and trustworthy little world for your research.
The whole idea behind Notebook LM is incredibly powerful, but also pretty simple. You feed it your trusted documents. Maybe it's a new set of regulations or a bunch of legal case files. You're basically creating your own private, expert AI. And once you've done that, you can ask it to take that knowledge and transform it into pretty much any format you can think of.
And the things you can create are just wild. Imagine uploading a dense, new piece of tax legislation. From that one source, you could instantly generate a podcast summary to listen to in the car, a quick explainer video for your junior staff, a mind map to see the big picture, or even a quiz to make sure your team actually understands it. All of it is perfectly accurate because it's based only on the document you provided.
So as you can probably tell, these two tools aren't really competitors. They're actually two essential pieces of the same puzzle, a modern professional's toolkit. Each one is designed for a very specific job.
So let's just boil it all down, because this is the most important takeaway. You have to know which tool to use and when. Think of Notebook LM as your input machine. You use it for the heavy lifting, the deep research, learning a complex new topic, creating content you know is accurate because it's source-based. Then, once you've got your insights, you turn to Napkin AI. That's your output machine. That's how you tell the story visually and get your point across with total clarity.
So by combining a powerful researcher like NotebookLM with a visual storyteller like Napkin AI, and of course, always following those safe data rules, you can truly change the way you work. You can start getting back all those hours you spend on tedious tasks and focus on the high-level strategic thinking that you are actually hired to do. So the only real question left is, what's the first thing you're going to automate?